A, B, C, as easy as 1, 2, 3. What? Who said 1, 2, 3 is easy? Hi, my name is Gemma Perry and welcome to Mooncake ESL Teaching Made Easy. If you're new here, then you need to know that I make weekly ESL teaching tip videos to help you improve your English teaching. So if you are teaching ESL abroad, make sure you subscribe below and hit that notification bell for weekly ESL teaching tips. Also real quick, if you are new here, remember to say hi in the comments below and let me know where in the world you're teaching. If you're struggling to teach numbers to kids, then you could be making some very simple mistakes. This video is part 1 of 2 where I explain everything you need to know about teaching numbers. In today's video, I'm going to explain the 3 parts to teaching numbers, and stay tuned to the end where I'll be explaining what you can expect from different age groups. So let's get started. So there are 2 really important things that we need to consider when planning our numbers class, and that's the what and the how. The what is what we should be teaching and what we can realistically expect from our students. I mean, you wouldn't expect a 3-year-old to count to 100, right? The second is the how, and actually there are 3 steps to teaching numbers. So let's take a look at the first step, sequence. What I mean by sequence is the order in which numbers go. So we know that counting goes 1, 2, 3 and not 2, 1, 3. For us, this might seem obvious, but for students learning to count for the first time, it's not, and they need to learn it. So how do we teach this? Well, practice makes perfect, and we can practice counting all the time. Like a lot. Take a moment to stop and think about all the different opportunities you have during class to practice counting. Maybe you're laying out some flashcards and you can count as you go. If you're teaching body parts, you can count your fingers and your toes. If you're teaching shapes, you can count how many circles and how many squares there are. Even just lining up and waiting to go outside, you'd be surprised how much fun students find counting. Step number 2, number recognition. Now that students can say their numbers, they need to better recognize them on paper. A great exercise for this is to have students put number flashcards in the correct order. I've given a great example of this in part 2 of this number series. Just like learning any other word, learning to recognize numbers takes time and practice, so make sure that you put this into your class regularly. Step number 3, quantity. The final part of the puzzle is quantity and matching numbers with it. What I mean by this is that students need to understand the quantity that numbers represent. So if we were talking about candies, for example, then number 1 would represent 1 candy. Number 2 would represent 2 candies, and so on. If students have really grasped quantity, then they should be able to correctly count the number of candies in a jar, and correctly count out a given number of candies when sharing. So now that we know the 3 steps to teaching numbers, we need to understand what we should be teaching students so that we don't teach way above their level. So let's take a look at some different age groups and what you can expect. Starting with those 2 to 3-year-olds, oh, the little darlings. These little darlings can count from 1 to 10 and recognize numbers from 1 to 5. 3 to 4-year-olds, the little munchkins. These little munchkins can count all the way to 20 and recognize numbers from 1 to 10. 4 to 5-year-olds, the bigger little ones. These little darlings can count all the way up to 50 and recognize numbers between 1 and 20. But not only that, at this age they can also start counting backwards from 10 down to 0. 5 to 6-year-olds, the big little ones. These little darlings can count all the way up to 100 and can even start counting in 2s, 5s and 10s. At this point they can also start adding and completing some simple math. Oh, it's like they're all grown up. Of course, this is all just a guide, and you are going to encounter some students who have been exposed to numbers much earlier and therefore have developed their mathematical reasoning skills much faster. On the other hand, you're going to encounter some students who are learning much slower. That's all okay. Just make sure that you adjust the level for the class that you're teaching. So there you have it, everything you need to know about planning your numbers class. Be sure to check out part 2 where I go through some more practical ways of how to teach this in the classroom. If you like this video, let me know by commenting with the word helpful in the comments below and by sharing with your fellow teachers. If you're looking for some more fun ESL games, then you can check out some of my other videos right here. That's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, or if you're interested in a Mooncake sweatshirt or mug, you can find them linked below. And of course, remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more weekly ESL teaching tips from Mooncake.